I'm going to be putting Air Arabia and flydubai head to head to see which is the best budget airline in the UAE. We've all heard about Emirates and Etihad with their world-leading first-class products, but I'm not trying to spend thousands of dollars today. Instead, I'll be flying on the only two budget airlines in the UAE to see which one deserves the low-cost crown. Here's the plan. I'll be rating each airline in these 5 categories and giving them a flyman score at the end of the video. And one of these airlines has a feature that I've never seen anywhere before. I'm starting things off at Sharjah International Airport, the home hub of Air Arabia and our first flight of the day. It's the 3rd largest airport in the UAE, but you may have never heard of it with its famous big brother DXB just down the road and Abu Dhabi's shiny new Zayed International taking 2nd place. It's a 20-minute drive from Sharjah waterfront, where I should have come from this morning, more on that in a second, or about 40 minutes from downtown Dubai. I've flown Air Arabia a few times before and I've had pretty good experiences until today. I was meant to arrive here on a separate flight last night, but my flight was delayed by 8.5 hours. So I've just landed, it's 5:30 a.m, my next flight's at 7:30, so we're off to a pretty bad start, but let's hope today's flight to Jeddah goes a lot smoother. The check-in area is split into 2, with half of it being allocated to Air Arabia and the other half for foreign airlines. It was a little busy with a medium-length queue this morning, but thankfully I checked in online in advance. I've got my mobile boarding pass, but unlike most low-cost carriers, Air Arabia won't charge to check in at the airport, so you can get a physical boarding pass for free, but they will charge you for everything else. The website looked a bit dated, but booking online was a breeze. The price of the base ticket was 626 dirhams, or about $170. Larger 10-kilo cabin bags are included. It was only 20 dirhams for a 20-kilo suitcase, and seat selection ranged from 12 to 130 dirhams. I think the base fare is a bit high, to be honest, but the cost for the extras is very reasonable. Now, I've just made it through passport control, so let me tell you how I'm going to rank these airlines. I'll be ranking the airlines in 5 categories: pre-flight, seat and cabin, in-flight amenities, food and service, and finally, value. Each category gets a rating out of 10, and then the total makes the airline's overall flyman score. Sharjah Airport opened in the 70s, and one thing I always dislike about older airports is the lower ceilings. It makes the space feel so much smaller. For those wanting to shop, there's a decent duty-free, an airside transit hotel for those on longer connections, and there's a food court with plenty of fast food options. It's nowhere near as chaotic as the last few times I've been here. I've literally had to push through crowds of people before, but right now I still want a bit more peace, so I'm gonna head to the lounge. There's only one lounge in Sharjah, so it's an easy choice, and even easier is remembering its name. It's literally called The Lounge. There was a bit of a queue to get in this morning, which is never a good sign. The lounge was fairly busy, but I managed to find myself a space in the corner. There's a dining room with a buffet selection for breakfast, salads, juices, and soft drinks, and good ramp views, which started getting better as the sun was rising. Now, I'm not rating these lounges as part of the final score since they have nothing to do with the airline, but since I'm here, I'm starting a new tradition, the champagne side quest. I'll keep a running tally for glasses of real champagne, sparkling wine, or nothing at all that I managed to find in lounges from now on. Do you have champagne?
Champagne we don't know. We have red wine, white wine.
Okay. Sharjah is a dry emirate, so I wasn't expecting anything, but they did actually have wines. Still, nothing with bubbles, so we're starting off with a big X on the scoreboard. Now, I'm going to head to the gate and find my plane for today. We've still got a bit of time before boarding, so let me give you a brief overview of Air Arabia. Air Arabia was founded in 2003 as the first low-cost airline in the Middle East. It has a fleet size of 85 made up entirely of A320 and A321neo LR aircraft. Its home hub is Sharjah, but it operates out of 5 other hubs and serves over 200 destinations across the Middle East, North Africa, Asia, and Europe. And when you're traveling to that many destinations, it's important to have a quick and easy way to stay connected on the go. eSIM.io have kindly sponsored this video, and since I'm traveling to 3 different countries in this trip, let me tell you about one of their best features, which you won't find on many other eSIM providers. There's been so many times where I've bought a 5 GB plan, only used part of it, and then gone to a different country and had to buy a whole new plan. airline, effectively losing that balance. With eSIM.io, you can use your data in a pay-as-you-go style, so as I'm moving between countries, I'm not letting that data go to waste.
It's super straightforward to set up. Just download the eSIM.io app from the App Store, install the eSIM onto your phone, and with the One SIM feature, you'll only ever have to install this eSIM once, which you can use in over 180 countries.
Once you've loaded balance into your IO wallet, you can start using it straight away, pay-as-you-go, or you still have the option to buy data plans per country or region. And remember, any leftover balance you can use on your next trip. So use my discount code FLYMAN5 for $5 off. Go to the App Store right now and download eSIM.io onto your phone.
Looks like boarding has just started. Let's go.
I have a deep, burning hate of bus gates, especially at an airport's home hub. So I'm going to start tracking how often I get these when boarding and disembarking planes. And we're not off to a good start today. Eventually, we reached the 15-year-old Airbus A320 we'd be flying to Jeddah. I'm in seat 27F today, a standard window seat. The padding on the seat feels pretty decent, but the recline is poor. The seat barely moves back. Legroom is average for a narrow-body aircraft at 76 centimeters or 30 inches, and apart from the tray table, there's not much else to show. Now that everyone had finished boarding, let's get in the air and I'll show you one feature that really impressed me for a low-cost airline. I pre-ordered a meal online, which the crew delivered to me about 25 minutes after takeoff. You can also purchase on board from their Sky Cafe menu, but the trolley didn't start making its way down the aisle until 40 minutes after takeoff, so you can choose beforehand to save some time and guarantee your choice. The onboard menu is more focused on cold sandwiches, but there are also a few hot options. I had the chicken biryani option today for 28 dirhams, and it looks pretty good. This is the sort of meal I'd expect on a long-haul economy flight, so it's nice to see it's available on a short-haul one, although to be fair, this was an online exclusive.
I've just finished my food and it was actually pretty good. I don't know how much of that was because of how hungry I was, because I haven't eaten because of the last flight delay, but there was actually a good amount of chicken in there. Usually these sorts of dishes is like 90% rice, so I was happy with the amount of chicken. It tasted good. The crew have been very friendly, and I'm pretty comfortable in the seat. I think for a 3-hour flight, it will do the trick.
Now, let's check out the toilets. There are 3 in total, 1 at the front and 2 at the back.
It's a pretty standard plain toilet, but it does feel a bit wider than the usual toilets you find on an A320 one, so that's nice. But now I'm going to go back to my seat and I'm going to show you something I've never seen on a low-cost carrier before.
There's no internet connection on the plane, but you can connect to the Wi-Fi to stream from Air Arabia's movie catalog. The range of content isn't extensive like you'd find on larger airlines, but there's definitely enough choice of movies and shows to find something you like. There's a flight information panel at the top too, which is useful to check on progress. This isn't something I've ever seen on a low-cost airline before. It's pretty impressive, to be honest, and definitely a great option to have, especially for longer flights. There aren't any charging options on the A320s, but if you're flying on a longer route in the A321s, then there'll be a USB-A charging port at your seat. And just like that, the captain announced our descent into Jeddah. flydubai is coming right up, but first I'm gonna rank Air Arabia in the 5 categories and give them a flyman score. Pre-flight. Online booking was easy, some queues at check-in, the airport's a bit dated with not much going on, and the bus gate brings it down too. I'll give it a 6. Seat and cabin. It's pretty comfortable. Legroom is average, cabin was clean but a bit old. That's a 7. In-flight amenities. Streaming content to the device is impressive, but there's no internet access or charging ports, so it's only a 5. Food and service, great quality. Cost was reasonable and crew was friendly. I'll give it an 8. And finally, value. A bit on the pricier side, especially compared to similar routes in the region. 6. That means Air Arabia gets a flyman score of 32.
Alright, so that's Air Arabia done. There were some positives, there were some negatives, but the question is, will flydubai be able to beat it? Let me know in the comments who you think's going to win. And for now, I need to get myself to Dubai.
I'm here at Dubai Terminal 2, And despite DXB being one of my most visited airports, I've only ever flown out of T1 and T3. So let's get inside and see what the flydubai terminal is like.
Right off the bat, it's definitely not as glamorous as Terminal 3, where Emirates are based, which is what most people think of when you say Dubai International. It's a short 20-minute drive from downtown Dubai, or about 35 minutes from Dubai Marina.
I've only ever flown flydubai once before, and that was into Dubai. I remember it well because it was my first ever time on a 737 MAX, and I'm still alive. So let's go back for round 2 and see how today's flight compares to Air Arabia.
There were barely any queues this morning for check-in. It was nice and peaceful here, although that wouldn't last for long.
Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Is flydubai really a low-cost airline? Well, it's more of a hybrid carrier. That means it incorporates some elements of low-cost airlines and full-service carriers. They offer unbundled fares to keep prices low, but they also have a business class. I'm flying on a base economy fare today, so I'll be comparing that.
And since I'm on a base fare, how much are all the extras going to cost? The ticket was 610 dirhams, almost the same as the last flight. A 7-kilo cabin bag is included, and surprisingly, a 20-kilo checked bag is included, even in the lowest fare. Not bad. Seat selection ranges from 30 to 188 dirhams. The ticket's a bit pricey for the route, but it does include luggage.
Let's get airside and see what T2 has to offer.
Right, so this is where the piece I was talking about ends. The airside part of the terminal is absolutely rammed. It's just a rectangle with all the gates in one line. This is the full length of the terminal right here. Duty free is probably your best bet for a bit of space, and there's also a few fast food options with coffee shops too.
flydubai actually operate their own lounge here at Terminal 2, and from the pictures I've seen online, it actually looks quite nice. But since I'm not flying in business class, I'm heading to the Marhaba contract lounge.
And unfortunately, it doesn't get any less busy inside the lounge. First of all, this is a tiny lounge. It's really not a great space. There's no views, and all you get are these tiny frosted windows. There's a small buffet offering with bread, cereals, salads, sandwiches, and some hot breakfast options. I'll be honest, these watery scrambled eggs really put me off, so I just grabbed a small beef pastrami sandwich and called it a day. I managed to find a seat in the bar area next door, and I've just spotted a little something which has given me hope for the champagne side quest.
Hi, good morning. Do you have any champagne?
Actually, the champagne is an additional charge, sir.
How about sparkling wine?
Sparkling wine, we don't have.
It's also additional. Okay.
Alright, well never mind then. Chargeable drinks don't count, so that's another tally for the X, and I guess I'll sip on this white wine instead. I've just realized that Terminal 2 has absolutely no jet bridges. Every flight boards using bus gates, so they're definitely losing some points for that.
But before I get crammed onto a bus, let me give you a brief overview of flydubai.
flydubai was established by the government of Dubai in 2008 and started operations in 2009. While not part of the Emirates group, it has close ties via a comprehensive codeshare partnership allowing passengers to book flights on their combined networks. It serves over 130 destinations across the Middle East, Africa, Asia, and Europe on their fleet of 93 Boeing 737-800 and 737 MAX aircraft.
It's bus time. Let's get to our plane for today.
And here's our aircraft for today, a 3-year-old 737 MAX 8. This is the 12-seat business class cabin at the front of the plane, but I can only dream today, and it's straight to the back of the plane for me. The cabin definitely looks more modern than Air Arabia, but let's see if the seat comfort holds up. I'm in seat 31A today, another standard window seat.
The first difference I can immediately see is this in-flight entertainment screen. It's definitely a big upgrade from the empty seat bag. I'll come back to this later though, because there's a feature on this system I've never seen anywhere else before. But first, let's see what else there is.
The seat itself is definitely not as comfortable as Air Arabia. It's a slimmer seat with less padding, but you do get this nice adjustable headrest, which helps if you want to get some sleep. What might not help with sleep is the recline not being that great here either. The legroom is the same as Air Arabia at 76 centimeters 30 inches, but for some reason it felt a bit more cramped.
I've also pre-ordered some food on this flight too, but it seems like boarding's just about complete, so let's get in the sky.
For my second flight, I'll be flying for about 3 hours again over to Yerevan. There's a tiny onboard menu with a few snacks and drinks to order from the trolley, but if you want a hot meal, you'll need to pre-order online for 35 dirhams. It took 1 hour and 15 minutes after takeoff for the food to be served. This is crazy compared to Air Arabia's 25 minutes. And worse, you don't even get to pick what you want online. You're stuck with fixed options, which had all run out by the time my row was reached, apart from the chicken omelette, which honestly was not great. This is probably one of the poorer plane meals I've had. Some of the potatoes were way too hard and I didn't even finish this. Now that the meal service is over, let's get back to the in-flight entertainment screen. I've never seen this sort of thing before on a low-cost airline. Having a seatback screen is a pretty full-service airline thing to have, and there's a decent movie of catalogs, but you have to pay to view anything. If that doesn't scream low-cost, I don't know what does. And have you ever seen this before? There's a card swiper built into the seat. I really can't imagine how many people are actually paying for movies, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Air Arabia didn't have the screens, but at least you could stream movies for free to your phone. You do have USB-A charging at every seat, and there was no Wi-Fi available for internet browsing.
Pretty standard toilet here, nothing special. It's a bit small, but otherwise, what more do you want from a toilet? I had a bit of an interesting encounter. When I asked the guy at the end of the row to get up so I could go to the toilet, he threw a massive strop. He was like, alright, sorry dude. But anyway, descent is soon, so I'm going to get back to my seat for landing and give you the flyman score. Okay, bit of a weird one. The guy who was throwing a strop, who's sitting at the end of my row, he just came to bash on the toilet door while I was in there, tell me to hurry up and sit back, because he was standing up waiting for me to get back in the row. Just for context, I was in the toilet for 2-3 minutes tops. Bit of a strange one, there's definitely a first, but anyway, the captain's just announced our descent. We're going into Yerevan, and I'll give you the flyman score.
But first, make sure you like and subscribe, and leave a comment below letting me know if you've flown on either airline and which airlines you'd like me to battle next. So how does flydubai rank in the 5 categories? Pre-flight, booking was straightforward, no queues at check-in, but T2 airside is way too crowded, and the pure bus gate operation brings it down to a 5. Seat and cabin, it's not as comfortable as Air Arabia, but you do get a headrest, legroom is average, cabin was clean and modern, that's a 7. In-flight amenities, the IFE screen was high resolution and responsive, but content is chargeable, there's no Wi-Fi and only USB-A charging, I'll give it a 6. Food and service, didn't get a choice, food was poor, and it cost more than Air Arabia. Crew did their job, but the service wasn't very warm, only a 3 here. Value, you can fly this exact route for way cheaper on other carriers, but you do get included luggage, so 7. That means flydubai gets a flyman score of 28. The food really brought them down here. At least I finally got a proper jet bridge when disembarking at Yerevan. With a score of 32 against 28, that makes Air Arabia the winner in this UAE low-cost battle. Let me know in the comments if you agree, and don't forget to like and subscribe to see the next one. Till next time.